if I'd do it because obviously we're like streaming too hard. As always, we're gonna begin with catching up with YouTube news. And let's go ahead and do a brief audio check once I freaking get my stream up. First of all, we got Trump issues scathing warning to Republicans. This is neat. We'll see if it's actually a real warning or if it's just I don't know. We'll see. And, news headlines lie a lot, but just like they honestly exaggerate.
It took 6 weeks to find out that you didn't have.
Alright, audio check, audio check. Need to turn it up a bit more. Which is fine. Probably like 7 right now. Need to turn it up a bit more. No, it's on 15.
They can be smart as can be, but when they want open borders.
Best I'm gonna do is 18, guys, but I hope you hear it.
Transgender for everyone. Bring your kids in. We're gonna change the sex of your child. Just send them our way. In some cases, like in Minnesota.
Good enough.
And nobody believes it when I say it. I think we have 6 states. Nobody, am I correct?
Food.
Okay, Tom Emmer's in, yes.
So. Cookies real quick.
But it's true. When the kid comes back, they keep the kid. They operate on the kid. They don't tell the parents. It's not believable. We have great, solid, common sense policy. They have horrendous policy. What they do is they stick together. They never have a no vote. They impeached me. I never knew I was going to be impeached. I get a phone call. You just got impeached. I said, what does that mean? It took them 10 minutes. They impeached the president who did a damn good job. I rebuilt our military, Space Force. I got everything. I did a lot. They impeached me for nothing twice. For nothing. Fortunately, you were on our side and we were unanimous. And the second time, a few people in this little group like Rice and this, they're all gone. Every one of them is gone except one that we're going to sort of let ride with. Some guy that has a state that you might as well just let him ride. But think of it, everyone's gone. Everyone's gone. It makes me feel so good. I don't want to feel vicious. But I'm so happy that everyone. And they're seriously gone too. They lost in landslides. This guy named Rice, he lost by 48 points. Right? Remember him?
So basically he's complaining about getting impeached. I haven't really heard a warning yet. Did he like threaten them with something he was going to do while he got impeached? I didn't even hear his fucking threat. Anyone hear his threat?
It's true. This was
Fuck. I need to turn on streamer trunicated mode. I should move that. Sorry, guys.
against this guy Rice.
Oh no, I accidentally boomed my stuff. Give me streamer mode. Where's trunicated? There we go. This will have to do. This is what Discord says the streamer minimum. So oh, there's username still on the right. Don't know what to say. There's something on this server I'm gonna do. Because I've started a new RP on this server, which is like a Fallout S server. That's all I'm gonna say. Anyway, not gonna spend too much time on it.
I think. Are you happy with him? I think so. Stand up, brother. He's great. I said, where does he come from? He's like a senator, state senator, or something. I said, all right. I spoke to him one time. I said, you're accepted. But little did I realize how good he was. You did a great job. You've done a great job.
He's asking what location I want to start in. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't seen the list. I'm just hoping it's gonna be like a chill GM, DM, whatever, Dungeon Master, Game Master, whatever you want to call it. It's like I just threw a suggestion at him for myself. It's like, give me a low level area with civilization around. It was like, hopefully he'll give me a recommendation. I'll just scroll through a list. But like, I don't know. GMs want you to read sometimes, for better or for worse. Like with another RP server I joined recently, we're like, can you please read the guide? Every time. It's like a very common role player meme. I'm not gonna lie, it's like funny. It's always gonna be complained with every game master, even like myself. So I'm like overly polite with it because I'm very nice to players. So I'll admit, years of bullshit as game master, I've been like, I fucking know you don't need it. And the biggest example of it, we're gonna pause it for this rant. Alright, so I used to have a roleplay server called Orland, and the saddest part of the effort I ever put into that server was that nobody ever used my skills, even though I made like long lists. And we even had long debates as mods, at least, fucking like talking about what we wanted to do with the skills. Everyone at least seemed think very proud of it, but nobody ever used any of my skills too hard except for one guy who made guns. Otherwise, they were all fags. Everyone ignored my skills. I even made like the mine section basically like a fucking dungeon simulator where they mine shit, like finding monster shit. They ignored it. Never got him. Oh, actually, I did get a mining quest to pop up at the end before it died. I will admit we did not get too deep into it. That's all. I still get to be annoyed. Oh man, we did like 5 posts or so I can't be too much of a dick about the mining quest at least. But we didn't do any other skills quests. We didn't even hunt for plants for foraging. Fags. Anyway, let's continue.
They say, and now you add what happened essentially yesterday. We've had the most successful first year of any president in history, and it should be a positive. And make it a positive. So with that, I leave you. I do, and I started by saying I love you all, and I'll end by saying I love you. You're amazing people. What you do for this country is incredible, and thank you all very much. Thank you.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my
It should be
co-host
nice,
Eric
and of
Faulkner
course we did like
Keith
other
Benny
skills to
on
an extent that
Outnumbered
were like
every
like you just
weekday
always
at
did,
12
like
p.m.
charisma
or
and
set your
crime
DVR.
skills especially. That was
Also,
like the
don't
only
forget
skills we
to
did the most.
subscribe
Like we
to
did
the
crime
Fox
skills
News
even though
YouTube
like
page
we
for
didn't get
daily
enough
highlights.
levels in it, but it was like obviously enough crime happened. Like we at least did the crime skills. And charisma to an extent. Charisma and fucking crime all maybe at least did a lot of, so I can't call them fags completely, you know, it's like so automatic. It's like kind of handing them a free cookie to an extent.
Nobel Prize winner in history. Yeah. Look at you people out there. She's the youngest Nobel Prize winner here. What are you doing? I'm thinking about maybe getting into writing. He wants to be a comedy writer. How do I become a comedy writer? I tell him, and he goes, seems like a lot of work. Let's get into the big story this weekend. FIFA! The World Cup is going to be held in the Americas, the United States, Canada, and Mexico. And there was great suspense around, no, not who would be in this year's group of death, or how FIFA would find a way to fuck over Scotland. No. It was who would win FIFA's inaugural Peace Prize. Oh! Because, no, it's the inaugural FIFA Peace Prize. Because when I think of one sport that fosters peaceful coexistence, it's the beautiful game. All right, here we go. Who's it gonna be?
Please welcome the very first winner of the FIFA Peace Prize, the 45th and 47th President of the United States of America, Mr. Donald J. Trump. Please.
Oh my God! Everybody!
Too old, I don't care. Alright, let's see what this is.
In the early hours of January 3rd, the Trump administration staged an invasion of Venezuela, violating international and domestic law. The raid included sorties from more than 150 airframes, every branch of the military except the space dorks and the FBI, also dorks. A few hours later, Trump announced that Venezuela's dictator, Nicolas Maduro, and his wife had been captured. Tactically speaking, brilliant execution. 5 out of 5. Would employ Delta Force again, also dorks. Strategically and, well, legally speaking, that's a different question. The United States invading an oil-rich country to topple a mad dictator is nothing new. But while this situation feels like Iraq II Maduro Boogaloo, the legal theories the Trump administration is invoking to justify this military action against Venezuela are rooted in U.S. domestic law, not international law like the global war on terror. They describe it as a law enforcement mission to force Maduro to face U.S. criminal charges filed in 2020. And so, grand jury indictment in hand, they carried out a warrant for his arrest. You know, standard cop stuff with gunships. Which is all the more insane because Trump took to the pulpit to tell the American people he was seizing control of their government and natural resources.
I swear it, Judge. We're gonna run everything. We're gonna run it, fix it. We're in the business of having countries around us that are viable and successful, and where the oil is allowed to freely come out because that's good against the prices now.
We'll get to why that plan is stupid and stupidly illegal, but right now the head of a foreign state is making their way through the criminal court of the Southern District of New York on some interesting charges, including conspiracy to acquire a machine gun. So let's dive into what the hell just happened and what happens next.
Why did
Nicolas
have to
Maduro
right
is
to buy a machine gun?
unquestionably a brutal dictator and prolific violator of human rights. He imprisoned and tortured his political enemies, journalists, protesters, and even ordinary citizens who ran afoul of his administration. In short, he sucks at life. And back in 2017, when his power was slipping in the face of widespread protest, Maduro forced the country's legislature to rewrite the constitution
So
to give him
shocked
even
by
more
that
power.
news.
The next year, Maduro called an election, but banned his opponents, suppressed voter turnouts, and imprisoned the competition.
That's rude.
Classic sham
Election manipulation
Wouldn't you
for
know it,
pussies.
the rascal did it again in 2024. And these sham elections are why the United States, Europe, and most of South and Central America do not recognize him as the legitimate leader of Venezuela. And under Maduro's interesting economic policies, Venezuela plunged from one of the fastest growing economies in South America in the early 2000s to an absolute hellscape of food scarcity, crime, disease, and child mortality, where the national currency was worth less than the paper it was printed on. This economic catastrophe triggered a wave of mass migration that destabilized an entire region. An estimated 7.7 million people fled. That's 20% of Venezuela's population. About 500,000 landed in the U.S. Trump has repeatedly played up unfounded scare stories about these Venezuelan migrants.
They sent from
How
their
do you
mental
clean
institutions, they
box
sent
in
from
the
their jails, prisons. They were drug dealers. They were drug kingpins. They sent everybody bad into the United States. But no longer.
In fact, it's fair to say that Donald Trump has been fixated on Venezuela since coming to power. During Trump's first term, he repeatedly instituted sanctions against Venezuela and even invited the Venezuelan opposition leader to be a special guest at the 2020 State of the Union address. And in March of 2020, the first Trump administration indicted Maduro, his wife, and a dozen of his henchmen with narco-terrorism, corruption, drug trafficking, and other criminal charges. But in Trump's second term, this obsession with Maduro
I always feel
off
like
the
it's like one of the few advanced
Trump's
kicks I
DOJ
have, which is
launched
like,
an investigation into the third
honestly, it's the only advanced kick I have.
conspiracy theory that
I'm gonna
Venezuela was a
I
secret
really should
squirrel in the
practice
Biden
because it's
crime
like
family scheme
one of the
to
best
steal the
Chinese
2020
martial arts
election from the
movies. Like,
rightfully
it's
elected
a
Trump.
pretty movie you
And
pulled
Trump's
off,
social
right?
repost this year, Trump doubled
Why not
down
pull
on
off
these
like a back
accusations.
skateboarder?
In March,
Okay,
Trump
fucking
designated
full on,
Venezuelan
compared to,
gang
like, a
Tren
real
de
Chinese
Aragua
martial
as a
artist, but-
foreign terrorist organization and claimed that Maduro was, in fact, the leader of that gang. He argued that this allowed him to deport Venezuelans to a Salvadoran torture prison with no due process. The courts weren't buying it, but the administration kept doing it anyway. In August, Trump issued a $50 million bounty on Maduro. In September, Trump and Pete Hegseth started their murder strikes on Venezuelan boats, which have killed at least 115 civilians that we know of. As we've talked about before,
God, I
the
must have too much
administration
smoke in
justified
here
this
again.
by arguing that the boats were made
You know what?
by
That
drug
reminds me.
hell-bent on poisoning the U.S. population.
I should spread this advice to the one viewer if they're real. Alright, so like, if you're a smoker, and if you fucking like, start being like me right now or get a fucking headache, sometimes it's just like too much smoke in a room and they're like, we're smokers. And even if you're a chain smoker like me. Still gotta manage your smoke levels. No, I know, I could still be disgusted with that stupid fucking house. Excuse me.
With fentanyl. Now, the administration has yet to provide any evidence that fentanyl was on any of these boats, and across every edition of the DEA's National Drug Threat Assessment, including their 2025 assessment, Venezuela never appears as a fentanyl source or transit country. These boat strikes are definitely illegal.
Yeah, fucking, what was that? Okay, alright. No, it's just a fucking table of contents, but let's see, is there anything? Surprising amount of information on fentanyl with 8 pages there, that's peculiar. Only 2 pages on nitazens, it's probably not complicated. Fucking, 4 pages on heroin, that's peculiar. Fucking 8 pages on methamphetamines. Another 4 on cocaine, and fucking 8 pages on marijuana. I'd actually be interested in that. Wouldn't mind fucking seeing the last fucking I wouldn't mind seeing new psychoactive substances and controlled prescription drugs. Do I care about that? Let's find out. A bunch of pings. I was just role playing. Blah 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 blah. I'll acknowledge my GMs eventually. Right now we're having fun. Alright, anyway, illicit finance, that sounds decent. Each of those categories I mentioned have 4 pages. Drug threat in Indian country has another 4 pages. Fucking, top 3 drug submissions by state against 1 page. They must not have been throwing strong recommendations on that list. Anyway, oh, there's an acronym glossary at the end. That's honestly a cute one. Fucking wouldn't mind that just for knowing more acronyms. And
DEA's National Drug Threat Assessment, including their 2025 assessment, Venezuela never appears as a fentanyl source or transit country. These boat strikes are definitely illegal. The order to kill the survivors of the September 2nd boat strike was especially illegal. Now, by the basic framework of international law, strikes against civilian vessels are typically considered either an act of war or just plain old murder. But Trump continued to escalate. On November 29th, Trump declared with no legal authority whatsoever that the airspace over Venezuela was closed. Then he blockaded Venezuelan oil tankers. Again, by the standards of international law, this is generally considered an act of war. So we're seeing a theme here, that the Trump administration continues to test how far to push the boundaries of international law. And so, at about 2 a.m. local time on January 3rd, the administration made good on its threats and launched a series of strikes on the Venezuelan capital of Caracas and several other Venezuelan military targets.
Alright, anyway.
You know, war stuff, not cop stuff. Cops don't have ballistic missiles yet.
Sorry to interrupt, Scala, but this is the #1 news story in the world right now, and I'm absolutely fascinated by how it's being covered differently by different sources. Depending on which sources you follow, you might come away thinking that you're watching entirely different events unfold, and that's the real danger. Facts don't necessarily shape public opinion, framing does. And with a story this big developing this fast across hundreds of outlets, it's nearly impossible to get the full picture without the right tools. That's why I rely on Ground News, the sponsor of today's video. When Donald Trump said that the US is going to run Venezuela, over 700 sources covered the story. And with Ground News, I can scroll down to see every article and compare headlines to see how each side is framing the story. And those frames can have subtle differences that make a huge impact on how readers interpret what Trump actually said. Reporting from the right typically frames his statements as a temporary measure to oversee a transition of political power. In contrast, headlines on the left use phrasing like indefinitely, suggesting much more akin to annexation or occupation. And reporting from the center is a surprisingly mixed bag of charged phrasing, with one headline even writing the U.S. is set to rule Venezuela. The same event, three completely different realities. And this is why Ground News has been my go-to for staying informed since 2023, and being a longtime supporter of this channel and independent news media at large. Because Ground News is an app and website that aggregates news from thousands of sources around the world in one place. For every story, it breaks down bias, factuality, and ownership, and allows us to compare how different sources cover the same story. So you don't just react to the headlines, you understand the structure behind them. And another crucial tool...
It's a good one. You can. I like at least the look of it. I haven't used it yet myself, so I should probably try myself.
Today,
I at least like the
see
vibe
you
of it.
in court.
While more than 150 aircraft from multiple branches of the U.S. military pounded
No, I
bases
suppose you
on
could say that's
targets
legally
in and
trusting
around
a
Caracas,
YouTuber product, so
helicopters
take that
carried
as you
Delta Force
will.
soldiers and FBI personnel into the city. At least 80 people were killed in the attack, and multiple areas of the city were left smoldering, including the port. A few hours later, Trump announced on Truth Social that Maduro and his wife, Celia Flores, had been captured and were being flown out of the country. Pam Bondi then announced via tweet, as one does, that
I don't
Maduro
really
and
need that
Flores had been
fucking
indicted on
sweet pick. You
multiple
just do
drug and weapons-related
most of
charges
stuff like
and would,
this.
quote, face the full wrath of American justice on
Like
American
putting
soil
out the
in
power.
American courts. Good for
Free
you,
pictures
Pam,
for
keeping
style
the
and
hope of due
beauty.
process alive.
Which
By
honestly, the
2026
Dante in me
standards,
wants to
that's
do it, but it's
progress.
like a fag me
But
because
it's hard
Steven
not to
Seagal
see
and
this
he's
as
like,
an
gives a
unauthorized
fuck.
act of war, not policing. Under Article 1 of the Constitution, only Congress has the power to declare war. And under the War Powers Resolution, the President almost always has to consult Congress before engaging in hostilities. So failing to consult with Congress is both illegal and unconstitutional. This didn't sit well with Trump.
They should say, great job. They should say, oh, gee, unconstitutional. You know, the same old stuff that we've been hearing for years and years and years.
You know, if I heard that I was doing that same old stuff of unconstitutionality for years and years and years, I might give it the tiniest bit of credence. Well, under that same law, codified under 50 U.S.C. Section 1543, the administration was also required to provide Congress within 48 hours by circumstances necessitating the introduction of United States Armed Forces, the constitutional and legislative authority under which such introduction took place, and the estimated scope and duration of the hostilities or involvement. At the time of this recording, we did not find sufficient evidence that these requirements had been met. But in the press conference with Trump and Secretary of State Marco Rubio shortly after the operation, they seemed to suggest that they didn't have to, because this was cop stuff, not war stuff.
This was an arrest of two indicted fugitives of American justice, and the Department of War supported the Department of Justice in that job. Now, there are broader policy implications here, but it's just not the kind of mission that you can pre-notify because it endangers the mission.
But this framework of a law enforcement action contradicts Trump's insane statements about the ultimate purpose of removing Maduro.
We're going to run it, essentially, until such time as a proper transition can take place.
Now, if you listen to Green Day's
It's not
American
even
Idiot on a
fucking
shiny little
motivation.
plastic
It's
saucer,
such a
this
meme.
whole thing should feel eerily familiar.
The
No.
transition from dictatorship
We disagree for some fucking reason.
until our
What a
work
fag
is done.
meme.
And then
Oh,
we
here's
will
that?
leave,
It's not.
and we will
Honestly,
leave a free Iraq.
I will admit I get to an extent the meme because this is always like the stereotype whenever we like conquer a dictator. But I like that if we at least do a legit democracy. Though I'll admit I'm willing to bet the punchline is gonna be like, hey, you remember every time they put like an American surrogate in charge for at least like the first, I don't know, couple of years, maybe a decade. It's like, yes, I get it. You're gonna do the meme. Where it's gonna be an American president or something there for like until like the next election, where they at least manage to run an election without killing each other. So it's like a dumb meme to us. We're just gonna look at it and be like, all right, how many years was like, I don't know, Dick Cheney in charge of Venezuela this time? What happened? So it was like 3 years before they managed to get an election to happen. I'm sorry, guys, they were retards. It's like, was that true? I don't know. We don't live in Venezuela.
Like Iraq, Venezuela is a very oil-rich country. It has the world's largest supply of untapped oil, about 303 billion barrels of the stuff. In no uncertain terms, Trump made his intentions clear about who now controls the natural resources of the sovereign country of Venezuela.
Oh, natural resources, of course. We just mentioned we want their resources again. Typical, stereotypical war
United
meme.
States oil company is the biggest anywhere in the world.
Oh, the biggest meme. Oil. American oil. All American wants oil. Big meme.
Fix the badly broken infrastructure, the oil infrastructure, and start making money for the country.
And again,
We built that whole industry there, and they just took it over like we were nothing, and we had a president that decided not to do anything about it.
and again.
In other words, we'll be selling oil, probably in much larger doses because they couldn't produce very much because their infrastructure was so bad. So we'll be selling large amounts of oil to other countries, many of whom are using it now, but I would say many more will come.
Wow. Look, there's a lot to unpack, and we're going to be talking more in a future video about the international laws designed to keep these kinds of things in check. But most essential right now is to dissect the administration's legal rationale for doing a full-send Team America World Police. The administration's central legal theory behind why they feel the law gives them the right to obliterate downtown Caracas is that this was a military action in support of the extraterritorial arrest of Maduro. He was, after all, indicted by a federal grand jury for crimes against the United States and thus a wanted man. But he's also an acting head of state, even if all the cool countries in the UN dispute his legitimacy. And that matters, because the US signed the UN Charter, which includes Article 2, Sub 4, quote, all members shall refrain in their international relations from the threat or use of force against the territorial integrity or political independence of any state, or in any other manner inconsistent with the purposes of the United Nations. This is a treaty that has the force of federal law. There's an extension to this, unwritten, that says foreign heads of state cannot be prosecuted by national courts. This is called head of state immunity, and is an example of what we call customary international law. Everybody agrees to do their best to follow customary international law in good faith, and it has the force of law. Here's a simple illustration. In many societies, standing in line isn't written into any law, but it's expected and respected. In fact, it's so expected that if you were to cut in line and cause a scene, a jury very well may find you guilty of disorderly conduct, despite the fact that, again, there's no written codified law that mandates standing in line. Despite head of state immunity and customary international law, the Trump administration believes that sending American cops to arrest a foreign head of state doesn't violate the law. There are two main strands of executive branch legal thought at play here. The first is a very controversial 1989 Office of Legal Counsel memo by Bill Barr, yeah, that guy, arguing that the FBI may use its statutory authority to investigate and arrest individuals for violating United States law, even if the FBI's actions contravene customary international law or unexecuted treaties or treaty provisions, such as Article 2, Sub 4 of the United Nations Charter. Remember how I said earlier that the FBI was involved in this mission? Well, that's surprisingly legally relevant. You see, back in 1989, Uncle Sam was once again obsessed with taking out a troublesome CIA asset turned dictator of Panama, Manuel Noriega. In his 22-page memo, Barr asserts that because the Constitution commands the president to take care that the laws be faithfully executed, the president, through the FBI, has constitutional authority to apply international law.
Something went
Faithfully
wrong.
executing the treaties of the nation is also required under the Constitution, since treaty.
He's gonna do like a faith argument on this, like fucking this like funny pseudo lawyer. I mean, he's gonna be like, oh no, you gotta act faithfully, executively. It's like fucking like I could do a double standard meme on him as Trump. I'd be like, all right, hear me out. We executed it faithfully by completely following the orders completely correctly. Well, he's gonna be like, no, you gotta like do it in good faith for the nation. It's like, no, we faithfully followed orders for Donald Trump and America's leaders. It's like, no, you gotta do it in good faith for the American morals. It's like, no, we just followed orders faithfully.
Have the force of federal law. And this is why the memo is so controversial. It proposes a recursive paradox in which the Constitution compels the president to faithfully uphold the law by ignoring it.
Oh.
Now, it's important to note that the Office of Legal Counsel is a part of the executive branch, and rarely will the Supreme Court be involved in issues like this. They're interpreting the law, but often with a heavy thumb from the White House. OLC memos carry significant weight for the executive branch, but they're not the law, and they don't carry the same presidential effect of a court's opinion. Regardless, this was convincing enough for the George H.W. Bush administration to send the Marines into Panama, and Trump's legal counsel likely advised him to do the same. Second, the Trump administration will also probably argue, as it has in LA and Portland and several other cities, that the president has the inherent authority to use the military to protect federal institutions and officers in the exercise of federal law enforcement actions.
Hear me out.
This is sometimes known.
Groomer God meme on the fucking news people. Like, hear me out. Barron Trump was like on vacation in Venezuela that day. We had to protect him and from just a bullshit story I make up. Like fucking I don't know, Maduro like tried to fuck his girlfriend and they got in a fist fight and we just like beat him up and kidnapped him over that. I don't know, just throw something about Barron Trump or something being there.
As unit self-defense. And that may justify having some National Guard members standing around looking fierce and bored while ICE agents throw flashbangs into people's cars. But it probably isn't going to justify sending Blackhawks and Chinooks and bombs into a foreign capital. It's worth saying again that the administration hasn't really provided any kind of legal justification here. We're doing their homework for them and presenting the most favorable, although legally dubious, arguments for them. But look, that is a lot of executive power, especially when you consider that this president doesn't think he needs to consult Congress to send 150 plus planes and helicopters in and start bombing a country, as long as some feds are munching on some arepas in downtown Caracas while Delta Force is busy kicking down doors. Because it's still just cop stuff. So let's parse the legal logic here. First strand, the FBI goes into Venezuela to arrest a foreign national who's a fugitive of U.S. law, Maduro, without the consent of the sovereign nation he resides in. Second strand, wow, look at all those Soviet machine guns and air defense on the roof and nearby military bunkers.
There are pillboxes built into the mountain right there with firing positions on the high ground, armed guard towers, and continuous 24/7 patrols.
The FBI is gonna need military assistance. Gunships, F-22s, B-1s, JDAMs, and big angry boats. That's all federal material that needs to be protected while in use. Therefore, whatever military action is needed to effectuate the arrest is lawful. Let's take a step back. This means that whenever a grand jury in some federal district indicts a foreign national, the president is authorized to use military force to effectuate the arrest of that defendant. No declaration of war, no authorization of military force, just the simple executive decision to defend federal officers in the exercise of their duties abroad. This is obvious bootstrapping. It's a stupid legal theory crafting of the Bart Simpson belligerent strategy that could have catastrophic consequences for global peace.
That just sounds like, I don't know, I don't even know what the exact command is, but I just feel like that combo just looks at me and when my last joke was like, I know you're lying to me with your latest meme, Donald Trump, or fuckboy Machiavelli on this fucking stream.
And stability.
If you get hit, it's your own fault.
So, sorry France, the FBI might just start swinging their arms, and that means the Marines are coming for Roman Polanski and feeling awfully twitchy with their trigger fingers. So where's all of this going? As horrific and depressing as events like these are, the law is not a static construct. And while law is crafted by policy, it's shaped by interpretation. We've been here before, and that means there's legal precedent. So looking at the closest historic analog to what just happened in Venezuela gives a tremendous level of insight into how the Trump administration's legal rationale might ultimately play out in the long run. And we don't have to look back very far. If you remember listening to Green Day's 39 Smooth on a tiny plastic rectangle, this might all seem eerily familiar. Because in 1989 to 1990, the George H.W. Bush administration invaded Panama to arrest dictator Manuel Noriega, which happened exactly 36 years ago to the day. Do with that what you will. Noriega was actually a former CIA asset who was useful to the U.S. interest in violently suppressing communism in Central America. But his relationship with the U.S. government soured when he started advocating for more independence and accepting bribes to allow drugs into the U.S. In December 1989, Panamanian soldiers killed U.S. Marine Lieutenant Robert Paz, wounded another service member, and beat a Navy couple. In response, President H.W. Bush sent more than 20,000 troops to invade Panama, with the stated goals of capturing Noriega to face drug charges in the United States, protecting American lives and property, and restoring democracy in Panama. The administration called this Operation Just Cause. Just to be clear, whenever the name of the operation explicitly implies legal authority, you know you have a legal problem. Fun fact for your trivia team, Operation Enduring Freedom, the invasion of Afghanistan after 9/11, was initially named Operation Infinite Justice. It was very much like that. Now, like Trump, H.W. Bush did not get congressional authorization for his invasion and didn't invoke the War Powers Act. But unlike Trump, he did at least give Congress a heads up a few hours in advance. Crucially, Bush legally justified his actions by claiming that the United States was acting in self-defense. The U.S. had the right to protect and defend the Panama Canal under the Panama Canal Treaty, and thus the right to defend the invading force deployed. There's that Bill Barr opinion in action. How convenient. But there's one critical difference in the Panama conflict that may work against Trump in using it as the basis of his legal justification to strike Venezuela, Cuba, Greenland, or wherever his blood-soaked adventure takes him next. The Panamanian National Assembly, under Noriega's control, passed a resolution declaring that Panama was in a state of war with the United States. This is the closest we get to the imminency standard in an inherent Article 2 context that allows the president to take immediate military action without the consent of Congress if there's a clear and present danger to the United States. This is in contrast to Congress's Article 1.
Alright, quick note about that rule, by the way. I want to clarify to everyone, it's always very important to note, you get exactly every day except for one day of the first year of a fake war, be able to do whatever the fuck you want in a war as a president before you gotta ask Congress for permission to keep with your war, else they shut you down. Important note, remember that. Very important. 363 days or some shit.
One power, which grants them exclusive authority to declare war. Is declaring that the nation is in a state of war the same as declaring war? It's debatable. But the Trump administration doesn't have that. Maduro's public statements over the course of escalation range from theatrical saber-rattling to
Hold up. We need
piece of chance.
we gotta do an Amish kid me. Let's see how well we raise that sword. So we gotta do like fucking microeconomics, how well we can wield a sword. Damn it, I zoned out and looked at you guys again. Fucking microeconomics, how he looks at a sword. Looks at a
Maduro's
sword.
public statements over the course of escalation range from theatrical saber-rattling
A lot of stuttering with that footage. I don't trust it. Too much stuttering.
So it's unclear whether this precedent gives legal authority versus political authority to take the actions at issue. And this is a developing story. Make sure to keep an eye on the channel for our ongoing coverage and analysis. But man, it really makes you wonder, why start an armed conflict when this kind of South American dictator swapping was perfected by the CIA? Also dorks. Very, very good at their job, dorks.
Now, all this highlights why it's so important to get a great lawyer when you're dealing with your own case. Now, after I started this channel, every week I get hundreds of comments and emails from viewers.
Alright, it's over. Alright, is there any good news? Ah, cool, we get the long one.
Welcome back, everyone.
This is
Great
gonna be
to
a
see
real
you. How was
update
your
to
holiday
react to
break?
them
We
as
hope
they
that you
fucking
were
as
able to
I
get a little
fucking
rest
I'm
because
pretty sure you're one
we
of the
have a
people
lot
that
to
don't
catch up
like
on.
when
Now,
you
the
react to
curse
them like this.
remains
There's
true
always
to
in
this
every
day.
YouTuber news person, but
Whenever
like,
we take some
oh
time
no,
off,
I'm doing
something
it
absolutely
anyway.
unprecedented
Oh
happens.
no, will it
But
be
during this
trauma if
break,
they
so
nag
much happened
me?
that we
What
really
will my
don't know where
response
to
be?
start. I mean,
I
yeah,
don't
of
know.
course,
I
we're
won't
gonna cover
care
the
unless they
biggest
challenge
story
my
on the
politics,
planet,
probably.
Trump's coup
Well, it's
in
like, oh no,
Venezuela.
Dark Viper
We're gonna try
AU.
and ease you back into
I don't
everything, starting
care.
with some of the lighter news.
I'm already done
from
it
the
too
past 2 weeks
toxically and
before
have
we
too
start
much
to
fun.
realize that while
Except it's over.
2026 just started,
Just make fun of me.
we're already witnessing shocking, new, unprecedented events.
It's a new year.
Same as it ever was.
Same as it ever was. First off, we are thrilled to inform you that the Rebllion, aka the Gavel Goat, has fallen.
Yup.
But it wasn't torched like in previous years. In fact, it's been 4 long years since the goat was last set ablaze. So it seems like God was tired of waiting around, and he toppled the beast with what appears to have been a strong gust of wind. God's breath.
Yeah. If you guys are gonna do something, I'm going to. Someone has to step in.
Yeah, you can see it right here. Unceremoniously collapsing back into the earth. From whence it came, 24-hour security detail be damned.
Mhm.
You can stop an arsonist. Can you stop the will of God?
That's right.
And actually, this is the second time in the past few years that nature itself has destroyed the Rebllion. Back in 2023, the goat was badly damaged as it was pecked away by flocks of birds.
Yes.
I mean, it is a giant bird feeder.
Yeah, I think they flew picked it down to the bones.
While the methods are different, we were thrilled to see how much joy its destruction brought to people this year. Amidst all of the horrible everything else.
Yeah, we can at least cheer for the Rebllion to fall down.
But the culling of the Christmas goat might have been really one of the only positives in an otherwise slop and horror-filled holiday season.
And it was truly the holiday of slop. AI slop commercials, crappy gifts covered in AI art.
Sloppy holidays.
It was just awful. It went all the way to AI slop posts on social media from family and friends. It was inescapable this year if you were online. But one Republican senator in particular decided to use generative AI
I forgot about this. This is good.
single-handedly fight his own war on Christmas. And I'm pretty sure that this guy got his wires crossed because Senator Chris Garton's holiday post included photos of him beating up Santa Claus.
That's what the war on Christmas is about.
Handing Santa Claus his ass. Which, that's an extremely confusing message. Why is he beating up Santa Claus? Does he actually hate Christmas? I guess these are just the questions that don't even cross the minds of people who use AI chatbots to create hyper-masculine versions of themselves. But, here we are.
That's all it is.
No thoughts going into it because no talent would exist to create it either.
To save Christmas, I have to take out Santa Claus.
And now he's been cursed with being the Santa Claus himself.
Yeah, that's
and next
what
year he's going to get beat up by a bigger senator with a more powerful chatbot.
Yeah, he didn't read the clause before he took out Santa Claus.
But you're seeing it. There's Senator Gardner absolutely beating the life out of Santa while a bunch of people are cheering him on in the background.
Fuck that guy. Kill him.
And even his explanation is a stretch. I mean, it really seems like he just wanted to look cool beating someone up. So the kids were home. He said, you know what? Let me see what that chatbot's all about. Make me a big tough guy.
You know what everyone loves to see? An old man getting beat up.
Yeah.
An old man, beloved around the world.
Yeah.
Particularly by children.
Mm-hmm.
They want to see you smash that man's face with your fist.
Yep. Well, here's the Independent with more.
A Republican lawmaker raised eyebrows after posting AI-generated images on Christmas Day that depicted him.
I'm bored. Let's do like I want to talk about my latest roleplay character. They're like a funny meme to me. Alright, so like for that Fallout S server I'm on, right? Fucking my character's like a funny meme to me. Because fucking, basically I throw her in a bunker with like her family and like fucking 5-step families worth of people. Because like it's a meme where like when the apocalypse happened, like a lot of them invite like a bunch of stupid amount of people that are like, some of it's a lot of family obviously, but some of it's like their loved ones that weren't relatives, and also just random folks like, I don't know, you're my friend, I've been friends with you 2 months, long enough to like I'll bring you in. And I just say the meme like, oh no, lust, pride, and greed ruined everything. My character's 2 means like ruined that with the sense of like her greed, where she kept trying to get harder jobs to the point it was like a Machiavellian bullshit over that alone. Because like you got more stuff based on work ethic in the bunker. And she also just like was a fuckboy too hard and just dated too hard, especially when a breakup happened. It was like just where the meme just like happens. We're like, and I then added it becomes a pseudo medieval noble family meme of torture, hilarity, and bullshit. Where eventually she just leaves because her social life alone is so ruining her. She just like aborts the bunker and goes to live in the apocalypse. That's basically her backstory.
Beating up Santa Claus. When you find out the North Pole is trying to bring more bureaucratic overreach and unfunded mandates down the chimney disguised as Christmas cheer. Not on my watch, the Republican posted on his X account Thursday morning. We the people run Indiana, not the bureaucrats, he added. Take it back to the North Pole, big guy.
What is that? I don't even understand.
What are you trying to say? In one of the AI-generated pictures, Garden kicked Santa down the steps of the state capitol building, while in another, he hoisted his fist above St. Nick's head as he was pinned to the ground. The comments underneath the post were overwhelmingly disapproving. This may be the most pitiful thing I've seen this Christmas. Congratulations, one person reacted on X. What on earth would compel a person to post images of them beating up a universally beloved figure? Someone else chimed in.
Now his excuse for me and the kids were having a bit of fun. Why has everyone got to be such a snowflake?
I thought, like, the only explanation I could come up with was, like, this is some real deep, once you get deep enough in the war on Christmas, it's like, oh, we need to take out Santa because he's stealing all of Jesus's glory.
Yeah.
He's
No, but the war on Christmas has always been this 1930s Coca-Cola depiction of what Christmas is.
Yeah.
Which was obviously bastardized this year because Coca-Cola just did a shitty AI version of those
For the second
classic
year in a
ads.
row.
Yeah.
I still
But
need a big
elsewhere
boy
in the world
fan
of
to
AI
door
and
it
gentrification, two completely opposite groups of fans were very disappointed for two totally different reasons because of some automation on StubHub's ticketing platform. So in the lead up to Christmas, a concert celebrating the stories of Jesus Christ called Andrew Peterson's Behold the Lamb of God was picked up by the StubHub algorithm as a new tour date for the metal band Lamb of God. And they started offering resale tickets to this event. StubHub even added a photo of the singer of Lamb of God to the listing and listed it as one of their top trending events in the area. So
Alright, what a meme. So it's like a metal band. That's the Lamb of God. You know, I'm bored. I want to see what their vibe is. Are they ironic with it, or like, are they fucking like Christian metal band?
What do you think, honey?
No.
Too old. Ooh, parasocial Christ. That's peculiar. I need to look at the lyrics. I can't tell what he says completely, but it's a really good song so far. Alright, based on the first few lines, you see it's very edgy for a metal song. We got rising kill the time, George Bush's nepotism, lots of lines, and a faulty mechanism. That's a pretty raw line, I'm not gonna lie. Alright, let's do a brief review with you guys. Fucking. You not work right, we're not gonna do it. OBS, work right, quit lagging. Fuck, come back. Fucking, Alright, there we go. Anyway, we'll do a brief scan through, because the song's probably almost over. It only's like 3 minutes longer, so. So, yeah, this just looked like. I don't know, it doesn't quite go to full time with the vibe of parasocial Christ. Like, I will admit, it basically seems like an edgelord criticism of, like, you being parasocial too hard. 9 times out of 10 based on what we've seen. I actually did like it though. I actually am gonna give it a like though. And I don't know. Anyway, back to the news.
bunch of very confused Lamb of God fans who eagerly were buying tickets and wanted to show up and see a metal band. So yeah, maybe this was just some big surprise last-minute gig in Spartanburg, South Carolina. Who was to say?
Yeah, they were tricking these metalheads into appreciating the holiday cheer.
You know, I came here for some aggressive rock and roll, but I left with a purpose.
Yeah.
That purpose is serving the Lord.
Go down to the local ice skating rink and enjoy the winter wonderland.
That's right.
Up there.
Well, no, South Carolina, they're probably, it was very warm in the South this Christmas, so they're probably, not ice skating. But here's local outlet WSPA with more.
A popular ticket reseller apologized Monday after an error led people to believe a popular heavy metal band was playing in Spartanburg rather than a planned Christian spiritual about the birth of Jesus Christ. The event was advertised on the auditorium's website and tickets were available online through Ticketmaster. Leading up to the event, however, StubHub, an online marketplace for reselling tickets, began advertising tickets for resale to watch Virginia-based heavy metal band Lamb of God on the same night and time at Spartanburg Memorial Auditorium. According to Lamb of God's website, the band isn't scheduled to be on tour until March 2026, and no shows have been announced in South Carolina. When asked about the error, a spokesperson for StubHub apologized for the confusion and said anyone who bought tickets can contact the company for a full refund.
But hey, why don't you just show up anyway? I wonder if anyone actually did show up, because what a scene that would be.
I'm just a music fan, all types.
Yeah.
You know,
Secular or otherwise. You know, I just like being impressed.
I'm playing both sides.
Yeah, and while it's funny to imagine a bunch of Lamb of God fans showing up at a theater production about Christian.
Now let's take a break to do fucking music. Let's hope I don't get muted, but we already played Lamb of God, so who fucking cares? I'm gonna do like my favorite fucking weird vibe lately, which is like, there's this song by Little Darky, which I know you think, why are you such an edgelord listening to Little Darky? Like, who cares? I'm an edgelord. You should have expected that. Really should have. Anyway, like the vibe is like he's yelling at a dude, right? And it's fucking just like this. He calls him a ghost inspired as well. I just like vibing as the dude he yells at him. It's like my vibe as a character in the song. I'm like the dude he yells at him. Literally his most political song. It's also my favorite song, which like it mostly inspired a book or like video game I always wanted to write, which like it's called Ruben, right? I actually talked about it in my book Anarcho-Capitalism, right? Fucking like basic. All right, I'm gonna like get it ready, but like I'm gonna throw my pitch about it real quick before we like fucking get too hard into it. Also fucking, I don't know, is OBS still working? We'll fucking just trust OBS to an extent. Hope anything makes sense. Good enough. Oh, good enough. Fluid enough. It says I have 34, whatever. It's fluctuating a lot. But like minimum was like 2,000. Let's see. Oh, whatever. Okay, good enough. I'll just refresh this and let it catch up. Anyway, as I was saying, So Ruben is like basically like a fun groomer game I wanted to make. Just basically like it's about like all the political paths you can take in general. And it's like a funny meme because like it's supposed to be about racism too. Because instead of being about black people or something, I do furries. So I just get bored. It'd be like, well, I'm gonna call them anthros as their official race, and furry's gonna be a slur. That's basically where like the joke starts and ends. It's just like we just call you furry as a slur, even though in real life it's like not a slur. It's just like a funny meme. You know, we call you furries as a slur, even though in that we're like legit anthros, like anthropomorphic humans, like your Bugs Bunny and shit, instead of being like a furry in a fursuit. So we call you furry as a slur because you're like legit anthros, and it's just like basically from there it's like a bunch of politics potential options. There's like usual ones like you can protest, you can just like be a rebel, and then I get bored and do other ones like fucking. It's also about him trying to be gay, while he's like the rich heir to like a gun or to a gun maker. So he's like has to like make a decision to like stay straight and shit to keep in his like gun company, or like he just gets exiled from his family. And then my favorite ones I make him accept too are marrying a woman, and then it just becomes an American meme, American conspiracy meme, where he just like goes around being like the most toxic American patriot, and ends in my favorite joke where like fucking like his son is gay, and he has these truth noculars or some shit where he just like he looks at his Republican his like rainbow shirt where he's like, oh no, the truth nocular says like because you got butt fucked you're a communist now. I have to do like the mice before men meme. Goodbye, fucking communist fag son. That's basically how my favorite joke storyline in that game ends. That's all I'm gonna mention out loud. We will see if I ever make that story or video game. But I prefer it to be a video game because I want it to be a visual novel. Really want it to be a visual novel with like multiple like fucking plot lines. And I also want like there's gonna be combat to an extent. It's literally gonna be 90% like visual novel, and there's gonna be like turn-based RPGs like shit. But immediately it's gonna be like such a fucking real plotline thing. Like honestly, you're gonna be like a weird character to an extent. It's gonna be like basically like Straw Hat Luffy structure to an extent where I just like you just get random level ups and I fly you like trains sometimes maybe, and it's just like you just flow through the story to an extent, like getting vaguely more powerful sometimes. Because like I'm probably not even gonna let you train that hard because it's supposed to be like really plot heavy. Where like fights will happen, but like, it's supposed to happen really when the plot wants to. When it's like literally you're gonna be lucky to get like a fight like once an hour if it's like my game too hard. Unless you do the war arc. So really there is an arc during the Rebel arc where things escalate so hard it's gonna go to a war. That's gonna basically be like a second game, where then that's like a legit war game. Which like it's so hard that like if there's ever a true sequel to the first Ruben game, the second game is 90% gonna be the fucking war one, where like we escalate in the Rebel arc to go into war between like the rebels of the country with August Caesar in charge with like the gang of Lucius DeHavio and Jacob Dietrich with like the main character Ruben as like the fourth main character dude. And fucking it's just gonna be like them taking over the country. And that's all we're gonna say about that plot line. I think I do go a lot more into it in the fucking Anarch of Capitalism. There's just like a fun tangent about like my stories in my head in that book. By the way, one more thing. If I get my way, specifically the second third of this part is going to be the intro to this song, to this game probably. Like the intro anime song, I want the second third of the song specifically to be the intro. I will admit, I hear myself saying to an extent I can make the visual novel game. I will admit, I could probably figure out to an extent how to program a lot of it, which is like the visual novel engine I have on my computer right now is like simple enough where I can at least do the story. But the problem is that I would need art unless I was a fag and used AI art to hold on. AI art is I'm not gonna lie, I'm like the guy that fucking uses AI art for like certain things like role playing, but like I hate to say it, AI art is such some memes still. There's no chance of making them work besides like basic human profile pictures. But otherwise, it'd just be like a profile picture montage of like nothing. And like it'd just be like a bunch of faces. Which means I could at least set up the characters for conversations with that alone. But they're like, it's unreliable with like everything enough to where like, be a miracle to get the face every time. Actually, it's not a miracle with the face. We actually get the face consistently enough. But the outfits are gonna be so irregular. It's gonna be like a meme alone with that. Unless I fucking like, I mean, there's an app to an extent. It's somewhat reliable. It's fucking like, it's like so. The AI is still not reliable enough to make a game with it. It was never, cause like it never fucking did anything too cool with like specific details beyond the character's outfit shit. Even then, I never got consistent jewelry. Even so, like I can't even get consistent jewelry. Go fuck yourself. It was a miracle to even get like the same colors for jewelry. So I would like say like one necklace and it suddenly had like 3 bracelets, like a bunch of bullshit. Cause like man, I had imagination a bit high because I like random, just like fucking just like I specifically asked for jewelry. You fucking just do like 20 jewelry. I'm like, what the fuck? Anyway, so like that's probably the biggest reason I hesitate on even taking the effort because it's just saying they're like I could at least make a book and a path I admit just like as like an advertisement for it. Which honestly now I think about it, even though I have like fucking so many books up, most of them are fucking memes, like, especially Jacob DHG. He's just my edgelord page where I just go on there and be an edgelord. Most used to Gal is gonna be a binding advising me, which I love as a fucking amateur chemist, but otherwise it's like fucking is anyone gonna even do binding advising combat? It's like fucking like binding advising people in my head, otherwise it's gonna be so disgusting ahead of time. Everyone maybe on the screens in my head. No one cares. We're lucky we even have binding advising fucking anyway. So like I could just jump into Ruben at some point. It actually sounds pretty fun. I don't know. We could at least do one path with the book. Like just one path with the book, that's it. Oh, here's the start of the second third. We're gonna want this until the beat change for the intro. Well, actually not this. This is when the beat picks up really hard with the guitar. Now. Here's the transition where if we got a long intro, we're just gonna transition to like a bunch of rich people partying, or there's like a fucking war right outside their house. They're just like drunk fags ignoring everything. Oh, and for this intro part of the song, they're just like, there's just gonna be a soldier meme the whole time. We're just like killing people and shit. And just like doing stupid shit. There'll probably be clips of characters with like a brief transition between like the school life and just like, we're gonna go kill fags now. Or just do some stupid rebellion shit. It's basically the wacky chaotic side. This 2/3. I mean, this part of the song is basically the wacky chaos of Ruben before we just get the drunk retards, just like drunk rich people just refusing to acknowledge the war outside their rich mansion party. We'll probably just do like low-key like a near 1-to-1 of that vibe of like Fort Ruben or something, just like an Iranian soldier for America out of nowhere. It'll like barely fit in with the rest of the game. It'll just be like that'll be like the propaganda meme with Ruben.
I remember it like it was yesterday. But you know what really slapped in my day, sonny?
Church is burning, oh God, but make sure that the earth is turning. They trying to take our love away. How concerning. I wanna help you either way. Stop your hurting and let's move on to brighter days. World War III, fire all I see, but I'ma keep on moving till I got no feet. In that World War III, hitting differently. I see the missiles in the air, shooting at I see. In that World War III, and then World War IV, white fighting with this party and the liquor to pour. In that World War, no more. Put down the AK-47, get your ass on the floor. And tell Kim Jong-un, look up at the moon. How could you hurt another person, make a new go zoom? And that impending doom, I know I'll lay up on my bed thinking it ending soon. I wanna see it by the day we're in offending you. And I'm afraid of everyone upon this planet. If you kill it for no reason, go to hell, god damn it. Yeah. Church is burning, oh God, but make sure that the earth is turning. They trying to take our love away. How concerning. I wanna help you either way. Stop your hurting and let's move on to brighter days. Church is burning, oh God, but make sure that the earth is turning. They trying to take our love away. How
Yeah, we're getting copyright strike as fuck, but play this is raw. We're gonna fucking hang out with this. I'm gonna write Ruben now because I'm feeling like it's a good playlist. I know enough about my story. We're just gonna impulsively jump into that bitch. Yeah, I don't need him at the moment. That's my sheet for my latest server, by the way. I don't know it. It's like the playlist when I joined for roleplay. Wait, no. Was it? Fuck, no, that was another server I got kicked from actually. Fuck. No, I made that sheet in the Discord server itself. But that was like. By the way, we're not gonna talk about that because honestly, it's like a very dumb vibe. Because I don't think this guy knew how I built my sheet. Because like they kept insisting on reading the lore. I was like, basically like they kept nitpicking me. And it just ended like the last nitpick before I got banned was like technology. And they just think technology was like, ow, I got banned. And man, I was rude to an extent. I was like, I don't want to read the lore. My character's big enough. I like don't have any political or just like family. I was just like gonna fucking just show up as a detective for the guards. And then fucking I don't know, they kept nitpicking me. Which I mean it was my fault to an extent because I like did not even know the year, so I tried to have a gun and shit. Like I already nerfed that where I only had like a club when they fucking like nagged me. So I'm like, man, y'all fucking did you all not refresh the page? Which doesn't even make sense because they were on Google Docs. It should be live editing. I should see me edit it live. Ruben, which path am I gonna do? I might as well do the one that goes to sequel. Path of Rebllion. Might as well tease the main sequel path. Like, did I change the camera by the way? I did not. Alright. I know what you're saying. Does this make sense? I don't care. We're doing college students this time. I'm fucking not. We're doing like a college vibe. We're not doing like teenage child soldiers doing it. People are like, no, we're supposed to groom child soldiers, not like young adults that are like 18 plus. Like, who cares? We're 18 plus.
separation, transportation, prohibiting your migration because a piece of legislation won't get to your destination. You under investigation.
How many words do we got so far? Yo, Florida ain't words. What a funny Christian meme. Oh no, there's a 4 and an 8. It's 2 death balls. 1 Japanese, 1 American if you play pool.
Somebody listen to me. We're tired of fighting your battles, not cattle. Making it rattle, don't tread on me, tread on me. A true American, hyper aware I am. I won't go there again, I won't go back. Fuck your wars for money, for economy. Autonomy is dying and a lot of me believes it. Living in the past, keep buying more gas, keep starting your wars, keep sending wars to Afghanistan and Taliban. Had a hand in fighting, now another state is at it, and we increasing demand. For weapons manufacturers to capture us, reactors in the east, our nation sending shit to rapture. On trend to win the folks that hold passion, feeling fracture from the folks that live.
Her name is Lust.
As always, I play Lust after doing a fuckboy move or something.
Nations crumble from within. All it takes is just one synapse red as blood. She'll take your money and she'll run. Oh, her beauty is something. No, you can fall in love with us. That's what I called her tonight. I saw her texting a guy. A subtle look in her eyes told me she cheated and lied, and it hurt me inside. She stabbed my heart with a knife, then told my friends with a sigh.
His name is Bright. He's never wrong, you know he's right. Stares for hours at his mind. Oh, his darkness flies inside, sharp as a knife. Never a doubt inside his mind, but his ego makes him blind. Now you can fall in love with Bright. That's what I had to decide. The moment I realized he'd never budge in his mind, saying I cheated and lied, and it hurt me inside. And when I started to cry, he yelled at me with despise.
Your name is Love.
Your name is Bright.
You looked at me with sinful eyes.
You never learned to compromise.
You only love me in the night.
Leave while you can. Pride is a foolish, broken man.
Lust will kill you, third man.
Now you can fall in love with.
Lust is poisonous, it's like ivy on a tree. She's a silent leading broken men out to the sea.
Pride is wild, devouring every leaf. Blind and empty, you can fall in love with mice.
Open up the window. Don't you wanna party? Don't you wanna blow smoke? Vanish in the heartbreak. Tell me what the cause
Enough
is.
forwarnless.
Give me all the
I need Andrew good.
tea.
No, we did that one already. No, this is gonna be like an oldie but a goodie. Fucking, this is like the 1-8-14 song where I'm like, it's like, I can actually play this and it's at least, I at least don't have to worry about it getting retarded. Or, everything. As always, the vibe with him is, let's just go with politics, Discord fag. That's enough of the vibe to get an idea why we don't trust his music to an extent, just like Little Darky as well.
You ready?
Yes. And for a self-insert them for like anything.
Talking sweet like a cavity, talking shit, it could go down like gravity. Step into me, that's a fantasy. I am a living calamity. Gradually losing my sanity. I went from ganja to flipping profanity. Profit off all of depravity, that's the reality.
Simply stupid.
They want to take away everything we own like it's a game of Monopoly. I turn a bed to an earthworm, bury him deep in the dirt on my property. The only girl that I got is a foreman. I keep me a Smith like a Mormon. I'm just a sip of the moonshine, spinning like I was a storm that's forming. Knocking shit over like hurricane. You shouldn't sleep on me like polyurethane. I can do this forever like plastic. I make it straight like the tip of a matchstick. Talking like Aristotle when I rap a philosopher greater than Plato. Throwing tomatoes at me, I'm a snitch like NATO. Hit you with a pistol, train you with a Play-Doh. Popping me water like Donald. I ain't talking Ronald, I'm talking to Doug. And speaking of ducks, you fucking like Daffy. I stretch you like Taffy, I don't give a fuck. I just live inside a truck. I just buff up Elon Musk. Once you know my bitch told me my dick looks just like an elephant tusk. I'm playing Mario Bros. You suck. I leave a devil with wings and a halo. I just shot up the Amazon warehouse into the .5 to Jeff Bezos. Bitch, you better get the fuck out the yard, out the yard. Bitch, you better get the fuck out
it's a Kim Docha like South Korean meme and like omniscient reader's view of my writer face slapping, like at least in that story's and like the South Korean joke is that every time you say you face slap someone, it's like a tear of beauty to them. So if you get like smacked 3 times, you're like 3 tears of beauty to them. Live visits. Advanced technology. We're not dealing with royal families yet. We might do that if they ever fuck with Britain though. We'll see if that ever happens though. Damn it. Ah well, good enough. Verse of a harem is a harem that hates you. We're not doing ex-boyfriends. Yeah, fuck, or it's like women having a harem. It's like, fuck, we don't. I'm a man in this one having a harem. Alright, can we justify fucking. Ah, fuck. Okay, go to this second. No, I didn't. Fuck, wait, did it? Okay, there's second page. Alright. Oh yeah. I'm not really paranormal, I'm superpowered in this one, really. I'm not gonna lie, it's supposed to be inspired by Ruby a lot when it comes to combat and shit. Not gonna lie. I know a lot of other ways. For, it's like. Alright, this is like such a dick move. We're gonna like fucking do this 5 episodes. Well, they can't
What does Uncle Sam say we do when you see an immigrant picking strawberries or mowing a lawn?
Alright, so basically I'm like a fucking superior, mature version of fucking Ruby with this story, right? I'm not even gonna front. I'm like that arrogant with it. Alright. Alright. Fucking like, so first of all, it's like mainly on the fact we're addressing real political issues. So unlike Ruby's like, turns out has been fucking confronting political issues recently. It's like we're gonna be doing like confronting like racism, like fucking the ideals of America. Fucking we're probably, as I said, we're doing racism, so we're probably gonna do foreigner shit. And obviously, since it's furry shit, we're gonna actually care about fucking like immigration and dumb shit, which I didn't really care about with the furry people on that show. So basically, it's like furry racism's getting simulated. We'll fucking actually do like a lot of morality bullshit about terrorism again, because that's like the one thing they did actually, where they were like, no, don't be a terrorist and rebel against your country. It was like the only morality thing they ever did in that fucking show, which like honestly fine, is alright. It's just like they could have done a lot more. Alright. Wait, hold up. See. Not good enough. Well, actually, there's kind of a contract marriage, just like staying straight. You think that'll count, guys? Office romance. Fucking. Well, we have Fuckboy Machiavelli as a forbidden love, but it's more based on ideals. You guys think that'll count? Maybe. Okay. You think we can get like the forbidden gay romance? Think we can count that? You think we can do that argument? I think we can pull that off. I think we can do that. I think we can pull off forbidden romance because like they're gay. He's like trying to stay a CEO and stuff in the future. All right. Okay, look, we have that actually kind of. But like Fuckboy Machiavelli gets bored enough to want a sex back, which he will probably get bored enough eventually. So like fucking that will happen. That will happen out of boredom. And we see if he does everything because he's Machiavellian. So he's gonna be smart about it, but like he will probably be stupid with it. Okay, that will probably happen enough times. That's just like a meme with my stories, like any story where oh no, you made fun of me. Let's get your ass beat. Anyway. Group pampering. Damn it. We don't do that. I was good. We could do that with like a family basically another groom kid like Ruben here was like really cool. We could have like done it easily just by throwing shit at them. And like, oh man, I'm so rich and pretty and I have like servants and stuff like did it. Bam, as a stereotype for like how rich they were. Okay, we have first person, we got that. We actually got that good enough after Rebllion. Well, we did a fuckboy Machiavelli fight. It's just like, so we got a lot of bullshit. We also got a groomer session about how you're gonna get groomed to be a squad. I think there's enough triggering events right there. I think we got that. We got fast paced. I'm very short form. Okay, alright. I think we're gonna do this one. Okay, I think we're gonna do this one. This is like, okay, fucking, okay, we don't, we, okay, okay, do we have to, I hope we don't have to do these. I hope it's not required. Fucking, this is gonna be good enough. Good enough. We're just gonna, okay, let's check again. Okay. Fuck! Fuck! He's supposed to be male. He's literally supposed to be male too. Alright, we're not turning him lesbian. Alright, what's another one? Alright, reverse harem. It's a woman on the cover. It's fucking obviously like fucking gonna be. Okay. Yep, there we go. It's a woman. Finally figured it out. Easily. I knew it. I'm an adult. Okay, fuck. We got really close, but it needed to be a female lead on that one. We're not doing it. He is meant to be male too hard to me. Anyway, nope. And no one, always, no one 17 under a vid. And chapter 1. Chapter 1. What am I gonna say? I wanna do a new title. It was not like, it did not end up the long forlorn vibe of like hanging out too hard and just being sad. It ended up terrorism happened. And it's just like I just wanna have hemlock influence too hard. Fucking it's just, what do I say? My ex-boyfriend loves and hates how groomed I am. I know that's not good enough. Off to military school, I hate my ex. Good enough. Alright, now we make the cover. And what are we gonna do for the cover? Fucking no, good enough. Let's go with we're gonna lay it on a bit thick. We'll see if it's gonna work out. means that eventually I will just probably film about modern politics if I get bored enough.
Production about Christianity, at least that mix-up was all StubHub's fault. This next production seems to have intentionally misled people into thinking that they were going to see some incredible Cirque du Soleil performance, when in reality it seems to be another in a long line of seemingly fraudulent productions being compared to the Glasgow Wonka experience.
It's event slop.
Yes, event slop is a category now.
Yeah.
This one is...
You know, I just realized since they're gonna look
They're
bad,
doing
so
it
might as
with
well
like a
try.
wink, like they know what they're doing. They're not false advertising, but they're using the word Cirque in a very
Fucking
like
goddamn
predominant
right,
way that would immediately make anyone.
Where
It's
is
just
it?
the French word for circus.
Sure, yeah, but
Maybe,
that's
maybe-
on you to check.
Maybe educate yourself.
Now, to be fair, if you look at the marketing materials for this, the whole thing's a red flag. The Wicked Wizard of Oz, a Cirque spectacular.
Let's see if this
And yeah,
works out.
that's pretty much it. The word Cirque seems to be doing a lot of the heavy lifting here because people, they see that word, they immediately assume that it's going to be a Cirque du Soleil production with some of the most talented performers on earth, spare no expense. Instead, they got a regional amateur attempt at storytelling and stunts that apparently enraged attendees. Here's the BBC.
Whatever, we'll just
Members
click
of
on
the
it. We'll get
audience
this
at a
full view on
Christmas
the
show
left. Who
Brighton have
cares? I'm an
criticized
adult.
it as worst production they have ever seen in a long time, with many walking out. David Parker from Crawley, who watched the performance with his partner and daughter, told BBC Radio Sussex the show was so bad it was laughable. One performer did 6 tumbles and got 5 wrong. Mr. Parker said they left in the first 10 minutes of the second half when his 9-year-old daughter insisted they leave. Daddy, I need to leave.
This is awful, Dad.
Dad, this is garbage. The show was advertised as Panto meets Cirque on the Brighton Center website. We were expecting it to have Cirque du Soleil levels of performance, he said. It was very awful, amateurish. There was a 5-minute gap, and no one knew what was going on, Mr. Parker said. Mr. Parker, who paid £143 for the show, said they had been looking forward to seeing the performance. There was a guy eating a cucumber and spitting it on another performer. There was another performer using a cucumber in a very provocative manner, he said. It was just poor.
I mean, for those prices, you would maybe assume, I mean,
Yeah.
inflation, but also like Vegas has so many that I guess the prices are skewed a bit. But yeah, £140
For 3 tickets?
Oh, 3 tickets, yeah, sure. Yeah. Anyways, here are a few experiences that were covered by Newsweek. Michelle Radford told the local news outlet Manchester Evening News, "It was atrocious. I've never seen anything so bad in my life. We presumed it would be themed around the Wizard of Oz. We were wrong. We thought it would be like Cirque du Soleil. It was presented as a fantastic show. I am speechless for how bad it was. It was an absolute shambles. The Munchkins were on stilts. The Wicked Witch was on a bike on top of a golf buggy. It was unbelievable."
I don't know, this sounds kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, if you knew what you were getting, it sounds kind of fun.
Yeah.
Tracy Ross, a theater producer from the nearby town of Bolton, said, "I support local theater, and I've been going to theater all my life. It started and there was no welcome to the show, no opening number. It was
Oh
two men
no, I'm
picking up a
doing
load
the
of boxes
femboy
on the stage
one.
and balancing them. Just didn't hit. The dancers' costumes looked cheap and tacky. During the tornado, they came into the crowd and were shooting the crowd with water guns. After 15 minutes, I left. I don't know, that's a pretty immersive experience if you ask me. Yeah.
Fuck.
So it
Why
does
already
seem
click it
like,
that fast?
you know,
Honestly,
if the expectations were set correctly,
we just need to
maybe
change the
people would have
font.
had a fun
Honestly,
time,
fonts is like
but all of
decent
these
enough.
people saw the word Cirque,
fucking
and they were like,
put it
okay,
back.
this is
Put
going to
back
be
the
$1
exact
million
same one we just
Cirque.
had.
And Wicked.
Yeah.
Like, this is 2 IPs that they're piggybacking.
It really feels like someone was just
Actually,
like,
as
you don't
always,
even need an AI to do it, but you just go like, what are the 2 hottest things
Yeah.
around the Christmas season? People want to go see Cirque du Soleil. They're all hyped about the Wizard
Yeah.
of Oz. What if we combine
That'll
those two?
do. We can
And under the big top, in an arena,
It's unlimited money.
how hard could it be to find
actually
something
fucking.
that can do
I gotta do one more. I gotta
death-defying
fucking.
It doesn't matter, because once they bought the ticket.
Shit, nothing matters. That's
We need at least one dude with black
You can shoot
hair.
anything.
Fucking.
But then again, why buy a ticket to the circus at all?
I need
when
one
old
dude with black
Alex
hair to pull
Jones
this off,
is giving it away
actually.
for free online by performing arguably the cringiest holiday video possible in front of a background that seems a little too nice for a guy who's supposed to be bankrupt, liquidated, and paying the families of the victims of Sandy Hook.
Yeah.
In what appears to be a bizarre humiliation ritual that Jones posted to his own Twitter account. He's seen cuddling up with a large labubu while claiming to have pulled a major 6'7".
6'7", baby. That's right, going to 2026. 6'7", then the year 2027. 6'7", 6'7", 6'7", 6'7", 6'7".
Not sure how anyone could look at this guy and see someone who is aspirational or even mentally stable.
Yeah.
No, thank you, Mr. Jones. You're free to go. You can keep your money now.
This is the one thing, yeah. But rounding out the holiday celebrations, and in a bit of good news, was the inauguration of Zoran Mamdani as New York City mayor. After being sworn in during a private midnight ceremony held in the abandoned City Hall subway station, which was very cool.
It's the one from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2.
Okay, it inspired the lair from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. Apparently, I tried to look into it and make the connection.
Well, it's like identical.
Yeah,
So,
but
very cool.
that's where he was sworn in at midnight, and after being sworn in, he paid the $9 fee and became the mayor of New York City.
Oh.
Now,
A little shakedown.
there was a public ceremony held later that day, and we'll just play you a short clip of that now.
For too long, those fluent in the good grammar of civility have deployed decorum to mask agendas of cruelty.
Oh no.
Many of these people have been betrayed
I wonder
by the
who did
established
that
order.
ever.
But in our administration, their needs will be met. Their hopes and dreams and interests will be reflected transparently in government. They will shape our future. And if for too long these communities have existed as distinct from one another, we will draw this city closer together. We will replace the rigidity of rugged individualism with the warmth of collectivism.
And Mamdani immediately got to work setting up rental rip-off hearings where tenants can help craft policy to protect their housing rights and hopefully prevent landlords from letting buildings fall into dangerous disrepair.
He's going around like personally inspecting buildings.
Stuff, yeah.
Landlords just like shitting their pants.
Mhm.
It's really
Good
cool.
enough.
Yeah, he also went ahead and revoked
This will
all
work.
of former Mayor Eric Adams' executive orders that started on the day that Eric Adams was indicted. And that does seem
No.
more than fair, but this is already being framed as anti-Semitic because one of the orders barred city agencies from, quote, boycotting or divesting from Israel.
Yeah, it's anti-Semitic to not give Israel money.
Yeah. Now, first of all, yes, that's not anti-Semitic. And second of all, this is being reported with a massive slant because, like we said, Mamdani revoked the executive orders that were signed after Eric
Where's my
Adams was
fucking
indicted for
Fallout
bribery
my
and
Fallout
conspiracy.
letters? I need
Regardless,
that. Like, we need that
the
button
former
in this
mayor,
book again.
he's got a backup plan.
Where's the
You might have been
Fallout
wondering
pod?
what Eric Adams was going to do with all his free time. So you'll all be thrilled to hear that he's going to be stopping violence and anti-Semitism
Damn it.
through the power of cryptocurrency.
They're always too big.
Wait,
During what would become his final press conference, he stuttered through his plans and said, "I'm excited about the next
No.
step. I cannot tell you. I've said over and over again,
Why is this
anyone
here?
would like to finish a job that you started. I want to do my book. I'm going to go back to
It's
school,
only kind of
but I also
badass
want to
for
use
it,
cryptocurrency to go after violence, educate our children, and really deal with the anti-Semitism that we're seeing globally. So I've always wanted to uplift families and children, and I think this is a great opportunity to use technology to do so. And also, I have a great deal of opportunities I've always wanted to." What?
yeah, that doesn't make sense to me.
How he plans on using cryptocurrency to solve anti-Semitism is truly anyone's guess. But I would imagine that he'll be using it to enrich himself. And, of course, use that money.
Ah,
take
here
more
we
trips
go.
to beautiful
It's
Istanbul,
Frederica the
Turkey.
Great.
I don't know if the trips are going to be
Yeah, so
free
it'll make
anymore.
it
It might
the,
not be,
where's
but
America?
he's gotten so attached
Where's
to Istanbul,
America?
and it is closer
Where's
to
America?
Israel than New York.
It's a great hub
Yeah.
for traveling
We
really
have
anywhere in the
America.
world.
Yeah, you can go
Alright,
anywhere,
there we
even to Chile. But
We'll
anyways,
just
we're going to be
do,
getting into some of the more serious stuff now as we check in with the Trump administration, which has been very busy over the holidays.
Black and white.
And one of the most annoying things
Show
about
no
all these
morality
evil
in
assholes
whatever
is
the
that
book.
they're also
Ruben
huge
is
losers
America.
that no one wants to be around. Trump ruined the Kennedy Center. He put his own name above JFK's, and then watched as performers backed out of their gigs and ticket sales plummeted. Then, of course, his followers spent the past couple of weeks trying to pretend that they actually love Nicki Minaj's music. And the highlight of all of MAGA's big, very classy New Year's Eve party at Mar-a-Lago was Vanilla Ice performing Ice Ice Baby alongside people dressed up as Ninja Turtles.
Wow, a lot of Ninja Turtle news of New Year's Eve.
Yeah, Zoran was hanging out getting sworn
Hey,
in.
we already got
later,
15 views.
and,
That's what's
down in
up.
Mar-a-Lago,
Who cares?
one of them or two of them appeared on stage with Vanilla
We'll see if
Ice,
they're genuine
so
cares
big
or we
year.
just don't get any deep views
So
again, like
not
always.
only are these officials on the
And
cutting
how
edge
long
of
have we been
culture,
streaming now?
but it's obviously
What do you say?
it's
Did I ignore
obvious that they
anyone?
were celebrating
I didn't ignore anyone, but
immigration customs enforcement.
we made a
performance.
movie, guys. So
Also, fuck Vanilla Ice for doing
we're gonna
this
take a
and dragging
break.
the Ninja Turtles into it.
Yeah. I mean,
probably
where
a
would you
long
go?
one.
It is
So
a
I'm at least gonna do like a round or two of role play posts for my server.
But at
that
the
I'm
very least, the
active on.
daily life of members.
While I just chill and I don't know. monitor yourselves. The internet today. Is there a video for today? Everything that happened over holiday breaks. Don't curse. Just like, have fun with that yourselves. You're adults. Type in internet today at least. It's our latest video. You can do that much. Peace and love. YouTube, Twitch.